Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa for yet another video on the Nordschleife challenge. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and as you can see, today we are going to be taking out the 2015 Ford Mustang GT. This is a 5-litre V8, I suppose a muscle car, although that's being said, the way Ford have actually built a number of these cars, particularly now, though there are muscle cars, they are pretty good at corners as well, so I'm not sure if I can call this an out-and-out muscle car anymore. What I can tell you though is the horsepower that this car produces. So it's 415 horsepower at 6,500 RPM with a torque of, I believe, 524 Newton meters, which is about 386 pound-feet of torque at 4,250 RPM, and all of that is through a manual transmission going to the rear wheel. So this is a rear-wheel drive car. Front engine, massive heavy front engine, being a V8, naturally aspirated though, so we do not have the additional weight of turbochargers, nor do we have the turbo lag or any spooling or anything like that, nor do we have anything to do with superchargers, but all of that does go to the rear. So this is going to be an interesting car to drive, I think. I believe that this car is claimed to be about 1,700 kilograms. I'm not entirely sure again, which is about 3,000, just under 3,800 pounds. But it is a heavy vehicle. It looks nice. I'm curious as to how this is going to drive. Now, looking for the tyres on this car, it was a little bit difficult to find because there are different options available. I believe the way it has been modelled in here is the standard option, or I say the standard option, the standard way of that Ford set this car up, so no options on this, and that means that we have 235 50 R18s, both front and rear, which is interesting because I would have thought Ford would have perhaps put 255s on the rear, maybe even 275s, particularly if you're looking at 415 brake horsepower. That is a lot of power going to 235 wheels. I know that my car has 225s and I have 225 brake horsepower. I know that put that above 350 and I think I'll be struggling to get the power down properly. So that is an interesting one. I want to see how that affects the drivability of this car. I'm thinking there is probably going to be a lot more sliding. So anyway, anything else about this car that you need to know? Probably not, apart from the standard that this car, I'm driving it without traction control, without ABS, so that is all the information you need. Up on screen now is going to be the times from last video, and in the last video we had the 458 Italia going to the top of the timesheets with the 7 minutes 44. That was a really nice drive. In fact, it went into 5th place on the driver standings as well. Where do I expect this car to go? Well, with the lap times as they are now, I honestly am not sure where this car is going to fit in. I think it is going to be down in 10th place, just behind the M4. I've just got a feeling that that is the sort of lap time we're looking at, but it might even slip further down. It might be down in 11th place where we've got the Cayman, or even lower, maybe towards the Nismo. I do not think it will go towards the 370Z Nismo though. So there we go. Right now, put your guess as to what the lap time this car can do. No, it isn't going to do anything in the 7 minutes, I do not believe. If it does that is going to be incredible. But put your suggestions, your guess, in the comments box below. I'll read them. Let's see how close you were. As usual, I'll be doing 2 Patreon laps to practice before what you see next on screen, which is me actually trying to get some lap time out of this. They'll probably still will end up spinning off at some point. So if you want to support me, link in the description. If not, that's fine. Like the video, that would be great as well. If you just hit the like button, that would be absolutely awesome. And that's enough of me rambling. Let's get started. Okay, here we go. Right, a couple of things I forgot to mention. That was 0 to 60 on this car. 0 to 60 is 5 seconds with a top speed of 159 miles per hour. So let's see how this car has been set up. I think the gearing can be changed slightly. I think I've got this car set up to do 170, which within the rules of Assetto Corsa is, or within the rules of this challenge, is allowed, no problems. So let's see what kind of lap time I actually get on this. Obviously you can see at the moment it's saying something like an 8 minutes 39. I've actually already slid off. One of the things that I was experiencing with this car was understeer. There is quite a bit of understeer. I think that's just because of the way the car is, power on understeer that is. But overall I was surprised with the driving capabilities of this car. It is quite a nice car to drive. It's rather agile as long as you know how to drive it. There's a lot of, I think, having to throw the car around just a smidge to help the car rotate, and then just controlling the slide. It doesn't feel anything like a muscle car, I believe, should. It really does not. It feels more like a Grand Tourer in a way. So that is the kind of styling I'm seeing from this car. Car revs up to 7,000 RPM, which is nice. I was expecting a little bit more than that, but it's fine. It's got plenty of torque, and of course the power comes in pretty high as well. So you really have to throw the car around. Now, surprisingly, I'm probably going to jinx this now, but I've only crashed the car once. So I had one spin on the first Patreon lap, and apart from that it was fine, and that was all of my own doing. It wasn't like the car caught me out. I just happened to go wide, and that was it. I've not had any other issues with this car, which is kind of surprising. I was expecting, a little bit more. I was expecting a little bit more sideways action with this car. Now you can get the car sideways. Do not get me wrong. You can get the car sideways, but it isn't easy to get the car sideways. And even when you do get it sideways, this isn't much. So I'm not entirely sure what sort of the idea is here. Ford have made a very good car, but what Ford have not made, in my opinion, is a muscle car. So a muscle car should be, well, it shouldn't be able to do this. That is for sure. Now, one thing about this car though, you do feel the mass of it. It is a heavy vehicle, and you can feel that definitely as you go around the corners. The front of the car does push out, but it isn't too bad. In a way it reminds me a little bit, surprisingly, of Audi. The understeer that you get from an Audi is what this is reminding me of. But yeah, nothing major. Also, the car can go a lot faster into corners than you think, because it seems like if you turn the car in and sort of coast it in, then it's okay. If you try to power it in, then it starts to struggle. Like that seems to be the general thing. At high speed it's really nice and planted. It's, I think, low and mid speed is where you feel that understeer, but at high speed you feel very little of it, as I mess up a little bit there. Nothing too major. I'm just trying to see what kind of lap time I can get out of this car. I've already seen the kind of lap times that it can do, and let's see what you guys have said for the lap times as well. That would be interesting to note. That was a very interesting line. Somehow that's game time. I'm not going to question it. Now, it's in places like this where you really feel the car understeering on power, so you really have to keep it in check. Places like Carousel, I have 2 laps in a row felt the car push out quite significantly, so you just want to keep the car in check a little. And even through corners like this, just a little bit of understeer, you'll hear it. The tyres just squirming a little bit for grip, just trying to get whatever purchase they can on the tarmac. But otherwise, as you can see, it's such a nice car to drive. And I can slide it a little bit. Obviously this isn't the fastest way around, so I'm not doing that, but it does slide a little. Very controlled sliding, I would say. Third was probably a good idea to hold there, to be fair. Come on, there we go. Again, just that little bit of understeer, you can just feel it pushing out. This is something I'm just trying to work on dialing out at the moment. The brakes on this car are really nice as well. I'm surprised at how good the brakes on this car are, as I immediately say that and mess up, but it's fine. I suppose I didn't press the brakes hard enough and I had the line into that jump wrong. Absolutely fine. Again, you just hear a little bit of tyre squeal as it's scrambling around for grip. Again, very easy to react to the car. It's surprisingly good. Doesn't feel like, I was expecting a car that would go sideways a lot more than this does. This car has to be coaxed to go sideways, as opposed to what I was expecting, which was, you know, you're going to go sideways regardless. Like you coax it to go forward in a straight line, as opposed to sideways. But no, it's the complete opposite. This feels more like a, in my opinion, Ford have made a Grand Tourer. That is what I think they've made. Now, in terms of lap time, that is that is one of the big things. So you can see now, 8 minutes 24. That's what we're heading towards. Honestly, 6th gear is probably not worth it here. 6th is such a tall cruise gear. It isn't going to really help me. So, reach 165 there. There you go, down to 3rd. Nice and easy in. Around here. .824.2 for the first lap. That is nowhere near as fast as I thought it would be. I thought this car was going to be able to do, as I said, 8 minute. I thought it was going to be, 8 minute 7s, but I think it's just the tyres just cannot handle it. It's just a bit too much for this car. So this second lap is really going to be all about trying to get it down closer to the 1M now. But also there's a little matter of a Nismo to beat. At I think it's at 8:23.7. So there's a little matter of that Nismo to try and completely demolish before moving on towards the 17s, which I think this car is not going to be able to make. So we're not even looking at the 17s here, really. You can see that through the corner, it just holds really nicely. I am impressed with this car. The only thing I'd say is that the car feels mundane. That is the downside. So the upside is great. It's got lots and lots and lots of power, and it's easy to drive, and it just sticks to the road somehow. The downside is it feels mundane. It doesn't feel that exciting. The sound is great, and it certainly feels capable, but not all too exciting. At least, as I said, in Assetto Corsa, I have mentioned this before, in real life it might be a completely different beast. It could be sideways through every corner in real life for all I know, but in Assetto Corsa it is not. In Assetto Corsa it is very well balanced and stable, which is nice for a lap time, not so much for total driver enjoyment of the experience of driving a car like this. So there is that to take into account. Bit of understeer there, as you saw. I just bopped into the wall slightly. Shouldn't cost me any more than a couple of tenths, really. That is going to cost me though, and that is a mistake that I've made before. As I said, when I last made a mistake, that was the exact same mistake I made. That was the exact same mistake I made, just in a different place. So we're going to have to go around again and see what we can do. But still, we have one lap time on the board, which is just behind the just behind the Nismo. I think we can get this lap time ahead of the Nismo though, so just something to aim towards. It's funny, the more I drive on the Nordschleife and the more I swap between cars and realise the differences and the nuances between the various different cars, the more I realise as well when I'm about to have an accident. I can look at something and say, yep, I'm about to have an accident. Brace yourself. Because you just get used to knowing when you're going to crash. That was as close as I would want to get on that inside shoulder. Any more than that and you're going to bounce, destabilise the car, and you're gone. I think that's probably as fast as I can get through that too. And that was slow. That was a lot slower. I bet you I can get this corner faster though. Well, if I don't take it sideways, that is. Boot full of power. That's how you do that. Still not easy to take it sideways, that's the thing. Still is not an easy thing. It's very easy to just correct it. Which is nice, that it's easy to correct. It just doesn't feel... I think my issue with the car is this is not quite as lively. I think that is my issue. So I wish the car was just a bit more alive. Then we'd be looking at this and saying, yep, this is going to rank really highly. At the moment, it's going to rank okay, I think. But I'm not sure if it's going to rank highly. That entire complex was messed up. It's like the S's at Suzuki. You get the first S wrong, and then from there on in, it's disaster all the way through. You just cannot improve no matter what you do. Second year is a bad idea, so let's just stick with third. See, there is lap time on the board here that I can gain. I wonder what would happen if I just held third through this section too. What would that do? I mean, it saves on the gear shift, means I can just focus on keeping the wheel pointing where it needs to. And and obviously this was somewhere where I can definitely improve. There you go, by quite a significant amount actually. So there's definitely a lot of lap time to be had with this car. Or I say a lot, some lap time to be had with this car. But I'm going to say I can probably get this car down to a 21. And that is going to be my aim on the next lap. If I can get this car down to a 21, I think we should be able to call it and say, yep, no, we're happy with that. So let's do this. I'm actually recording this really late due to work and everything. This is actually a really late at night recording. So I am probably not firing on. I'm not firing on all 8 cylinders. Let's say I'm firing on 7 of 8. No, I'm probably okay. I've never recorded Assetto Corsa this late at night before. In fact, Assetto Corsa simulators is something I have not recorded this late at night. I have recorded other things this late at night, or been finishing recording things, but certainly not simulators. So let's see what I can do with the last lap. Get myself comfortable in my sweltering hot room. By sweltering hot, I mean it's about, I don't know, in excess of 30 degrees in my room. So maybe 35 degrees, and humidity is almost at, I think it's about 95%. Let's do this. Let's see what we can do here. Just again, not paying any mind to the signs, any mind to the signs, any mind to the delta. Just going to try and do everything I can as best as I can, nice and smooth, wherever I can, and see what happens. I could gain lots of time, I could lose lots of time. I really do not know at this point. Oh, that's gonna cost me. That's really going to cost me. I'm counting the lap though. I know it's gone red, but I'm counting the lap. Provided, you know, I do not crash, in which case counting the laps is going to be a waste of time. Right, quick look up at the delta, and we are half a second up. Okay, we are ahead now of the... Are we? Where is it? We are ahead of the Nismo. Just. And by just, I mean we're looking at literally hundredths of a second at the moment. Now we're looking at tenths of a second. Okay. Now we're now in tenths of a second. It's just got to keep this up, and then we'll be okay. Nice and smooth. Last time I did not get this quite as right as I wanted to get it. Okay, it still wasn't quite as right. It's okay though. Let's try and get this a little bit better this lap. Oh, that was not that good. We are locking up in a few places now. I think I'm just overdriving the car just a smidge. Just going to ease off a little on the driving. Again here, last time I very much was overdriving the car here. So I'm just going to ensure that I do not overdrive it. Come on, turn in nicely. There you go. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. Now, got some time here that we can gain. Just keep it on the brakes. There we go. It's okay-ish. Come on, up the hill. Gain a little bit there. Felt a little better. I'm just surprised at this lap time, I'll be honest. So this car feels okay, feels good to drive actually. Not fantastic, feels good, not fantastic, but it is nowhere near as fast as I thought it would be. I was thinking this car would be a lots faster, and generally I get cars around the ballpark, unless we're looking at, you know, absolute supercars. Like last week I got the 458 wrong. I did say it would be fighting for the top three. I didn't expect it to go to the top with quite as much oomph, I suppose. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, that's cost me a fair amount. Come on. That understeer through there after hitting that bump has really cost me. I'm going to have to claw back a lot of time, I think. Come on. I can claw back a little bit here. If I get this absolutely bang on perfect, which that is probably as great as it's going to get. I can feel the car just trying to push off the banking there. So not going to do anything else there. Well, I mean, I can't do anything else anyway because this is the lap. How are we looking here? Go slightly tap the brakes there, third gear, ensure that this transition is correct. That's good. There we go. That was pretty good. Round that corner. This bit of power. Just trying to hold third through here, I think. I think holding third. That was good. That felt like the car was sticking where I wanted it to on the road. So I'm quite happy with that. Down to second for this one. Maybe should have given this a little bit more, coasted just a little bit more in. Holding third for this. I want to see what happens. That's pretty good. Right, now watch this downhill section. Get it right. Get this right and you're good. There we go. That was nice. That was very nice. Now, just have to nail the rest of this. When I say nail, doesn't really have to nail it, just have to get, just not crash, that's all. Oh, that's as close as I'm going to get on that for speed. I was going pretty much as fast as I possibly could. Okay. See what we got. I'll check the delta on the straight. I think the second half of this lap has been really good. We're going in towards the 8. We're going to dip below the 8 minutes 20. It's still not going to be top first page, but we are dipping below the 8 minutes 20, and that's big for this, considering that my first lap time was a 24, so 4.5 seconds almost. That's a lot. I could have done better, really. I know I could have done better. to try my absolute best not to bin it there. I mean, we are right on the limits of an 8 minutes 20, so 8 minutes 19.79. I will take that lap time. Yep, I'm definitely going to take that lap time. So there you go, that has appeared on the board right now, and that's going to be in, where's that going? Ahead of the 370Z by quite a few seconds, and about, what was that? 2 seconds behind the BMW 1M Coupe. Which is the surprise? That is quite surprising, that given the power of this car, given the, yeah, okay, it's a heavier car, I was not expecting the car to be this slow. I was expecting top 10 at least, but there you go, that is where it goes on the board. So what about driver standings? Where does it go on the driver standings? Well, I'm now looking at the first page, and I mean, the car is really good to drive. I'm just trying to work out whether this is first page or second page material. It's definitely not at the bare minimum. It's going to be around the Testarossa. That's the bare minimum. So it's 9th and 10th on that. It isn't going to go anywhere ahead of that. But realistically, I think that this might be around the maybe Miura territory, I think. Dodge, I think it's better to drive than that Dodge Viper. Definitely better to drive than that Dodge Viper. So this is going to go between 9th and 15th, and I'm just trying to define it a little bit better. So I think I would like to place this car on the board for let's put it, I'm just thinking about the RX-7. This does feel, in a way, a similar kind of driving experience. I mean, it's a different kind of driving experience, but the same kind of feeling overall. So the same kind of, how good is it, as the RX-7 and that Miura. That's where I'm looking. So do I place this above or below the RX-7? That's the question. I think, and again, above or below the Miura, I think this is going to be, I don't think this has got quite the natural range of the Miura. I think the Miura had this thing where it could keep going and it just really felt nice all the way. This one is a bit more torquey. That's the more muscle car part. But on the flip side, this is pretty good to drive. So that's the other side of this that I need to look at. This is pretty good to drive. So I think it's neck and neck with the Miura. I'm going to place it behind the Miura on the because simply the Miura did the lap time first. So this one is going to go into 15th, is it 15th place? 14th place. 14th place behind the Miura, so that should be up on your screen now. I think that is a reasonable place to put this car. Not every car is going to make it onto the first page. There's still lots of good cars here. You've got the Viper, you've got the Elise, you've got the Nightmare 570S. That I just could not drive that well. The GT86 is there, which I think should be higher up. The Nismo, I didn't enjoy the drive on that. It was just extremely dull, more dull than this. So there is that. So I think that's a fair place for this car to go. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to end that there. Leave a like if you like the video. It really does help me out. Helps out on the YouTube algorithm. I mean, my videos have collapsed over the past I don't know, 6 or 7 months, and I wish I knew why. It's just I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with YouTube's algorithm. So likes, subscriptions, comments, I think all of those things will really help me. So please do go ahead and do that. If you can do so, you can support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your supports would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. And also you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. That is all from me, and I will see you next time in Assetto Corsa, where I'm going to look for another car to drive. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments, whether they're mods or not. If I can find a good mod for them, I will certainly drive them. At the moment, I'm looking out for a Caterham. That's at the moment what I'm looking out for. Again, I've just made that exact same mistake I've made before. That's the danger of going on grass whilst you're trying to turn. There you go. Right, that is all from me, and I will see you next time in Assetto Corsa, back on the Nordschleife, this time with a different car. Let's see if I can just slide this one around this corner. Oh, almost had that one. Oh, there you go. I'll see you next time.